Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're here because today we're dropping straight into a genuinely extraordinary historical and theological text from Genesis chapter 44. Whether you're already deeply familiar with ancient texts or you just love a stunning story of personal transformation, this analysis is going to completely change the way you view leadership, family dynamics, and ultimate sacrifice. Okay, let's unpack this whole shebang and uncover the layers of a narrative that has literally shaped human thought for centuries.
To truly grasp the weight of this text, we've got to drop right into a massive life-or-death crisis. Imagine this. We're standing in the middle of the Egyptian court, facing the most powerful ruler in the known world. The tension is incredibly high. A stolen silver cup has just been found in the sack of the youngest brother, Benjamin. By law, Benjamin is about to be enslaved forever, trapped in a foreign land away from his family. Which brings us to the ultimate question. What would you sacrifice for the brother you once betrayed? Keep that question in the back of your mind as we watch one man step forward to answer it.
Section 1. A desperate defense facing the ruler of Egypt. Looking at the textual breakdown here, it brilliantly illustrates how Judah, one of the older brothers, takes the lead. He steps right up to the absolute authority of the Egyptian ruler to make a desperate plea for his youngest brother's life. But notice his posture. He doesn't come in hot, demanding his rights or arguing the facts of the stolen cup. Instead, he completely humbles himself. The exegesis points out that he repeatedly refers to the ruler as "my lord," and to himself and his brothers as "your servants." He is fully acknowledging the ruler's immense power before he even begins to make his case. Honestly, it's a masterclass in diplomacy under pressure.
Moving to Section 2. The persuasive strategy. Shifting from crime to compassion.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer repetition of a single number, 14. In a total masterstroke of persuasive communication, Judah pivots his rhetoric completely away from a legal or criminal defense. He's not arguing about the silver cup. Instead, he focuses entirely on emotional, familial bonds. During his speech, Judah uses the word father exactly 14 times. This is highly intentional. He's appealing directly to the ruler's sense of compassion, painting this vivid picture of an old man back home who's just desperately waiting for his sons.
Furthermore, he builds on this emotional angle with his phrasing. He deliberately calls Benjamin a boy or a child 7 times throughout his plea. 7 times. And you know what word he completely avoids? Slave or criminal. By saying, the boy cannot leave his father, he is emphasizing the youth's vulnerability, his innocence, and his deep attachment to their aging parent. He's effectively transforming Benjamin in the eyes of the ruler, from a convicted thief into a helpless child.
To really cement this appeal, Judah logically and highly emotionally lays out 3 catastrophic outcomes that are inevitably going to happen if Benjamin doesn't go home. First, he explains that the aging father's life is literally bound to the boy. If the boy doesn't return, the father will just die of shock and grief. Second, the brothers will carry the unbearable guilt of causing their father's death, becoming unforgivable sinners. And third, on a deeply personal level, Judah himself will permanently break the solemn vow of protection he made to his father before they left. He's painting a picture of total family destruction.
Which brings us to Section 3, a substitute's courage, the ultimate turning point.
The crucial point is captured right here in this comparison. I mean, we are literally witnessing one of the most profound character transformations in recorded history. Decades earlier, the past Judah was a man who callously suggested selling his own brother Joseph into slavery for a quick profit. But contrast that with the present Judah. Here he is willingly offering his own life and his own freedom to save his brother Benjamin. The contrast here is absolute, right? The man who once sold his own brother into slavery is now begging to become a slave himself just to set his younger brother free. No way you see that coming.
The text here gives us a specific meditation point on this exact moment. It highlights Judah's remarkable courage in offering himself as collateral. He's essentially saying, look, let the boy go back and let me stay here as your slave instead. He is no longer making excuses or hiding. This proves his complete transformation from a man driven by self-preservation into a man of absolute responsibility and sacrificial love. He's stepping right into the gap, fully absorbing the punishment meant for someone else.
Section 4. Foreshadowing Christ, the theological parallel.
So what does this all mean? Well, this micro-level family drama actually serves a much larger purpose in the text, setting up a macro-level theological parallel that echoes throughout the rest of the biblical narrative. As our source explicitly outlines, there's a direct link being made. On one hand, we have Judah, the brother who became a substitutionary slave to absorb the penalty and save his family. On the other hand, this beautifully prefigures Jesus Christ, described as the suffering servant who comes as the ultimate substitute.
Just as Judah offered to take Benjamin's place in chains, the text draws a clear parallel to Christ taking on the weight and punishment of our sins upon the cross to restore humanity to the Father.
And that leads into Section 5, Sacrificial Love Today, Empathy and Responsibility.
So how do we actually apply this ancient model of substitutionary love in our modern everyday lives? Well, this really powerful quote from the devotional text hits the nail on the head. God makes us grow into people who understand others' hearts. It reminds us that true spiritual maturity isn't just about accumulating facts and knowledge, right? It means moving past our own selfishness, our own desire for comfort and self-preservation, to truly empathize with the pain and vulnerability of others. It's about genuinely feeling the weight of what someone else is going through, just as Judah finally felt the incredible weight of his father's grief.
The source beautifully grounds this abstract concept in reality. It specifically highlights the call to take responsibility right now, today, by praying for persecuted churches in northern Nigeria facing violent attacks. It connects the ancient concept of stepping into the gap for a vulnerable brother to the very modern necessity of standing with, advocating for, and praying for communities around the world who are currently vulnerable, oppressed, and in deep distress. It takes the theory of empathy and turns it into tangible responsibility.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a challenging thought about your own life. Where do you need to step up, sacrifice your rights, and actually take responsibility today? We've seen how Judah's transformation totally changed the course of his family's history and how substitutionary love serves as a profound theological model. But you know, knowledge demands action. So in your family, your workplace, or your community, how can you embody this transformative, sacrificial love for someone else today? Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating text with me, and I hope it leaves you inspired to understand the hearts of others just a little bit better.